Hi, student. A very good evening to all of you, and I would like to welcome all of you to Masters of Education Research Methodology EDM 7008 class. Okay, before I go any further, let me introduce my name. I am Dr. Isai Amutan Krishnan, and I will be lecturing you research methodology. As I mentioned, the course code EDM 7008, and I hope you all in the right class. Okay, all right. So I would like to give you certain rules of engagement in my class. Okay, number one, I would like you to participate actively in our class, okay? And also, I would appreciate if you could focus and take some notes if you can, and listen to others. I always would like to listen from others. At the same time, you have to listen to your classmates as well, so that we can exchange ideas or opinions or input. Okay, and also try to consider all the ideas from your friends, from any resources, so we should respect the ideas which they're going to share throughout our class, so that it will be very useful for us. Okay, all right. Now, so and also I would be very happy if you could share your experiences and appreciate each other. And of course, I would like to, you to behave professionally and also be constructive and, try to tackle the challenges, everything in a very professional manner. Okay? All right. Now, our teaching learning methodology will be covered few elements here, which I would like to start with the presentation. We do have self reflections, we may have a group discussions, we do mind mapping, we do have some quizzes and experiential learning, role play, discussion on videos, and a case studies. Okay, all right. So I am going to start our today's class with certain discussions also. Before that, I would like to give you the course learning objectives. Okay, what are we going to learn towards the end of this class? First of all, we would able to understand the research principles. Okay, and we're going to plan a research design, and also we will learn how to write a literature review in order for you to create the research gaps. And also we're going to learn how are we going to do the data collection and also data analysis, and how you're going to reflect on your research answers, so that you will find the findings, and that would be a significant contributions, also I would say implication of your study. And we are going to apply the research to a professional life. Okay, always remember, when you do research, right, you must think about it, how your research will be contribute to you, or to an individual, to the family member, society, community, and also overall to our nations, and later on think about the entire world. Okay, all right. So now moving on, there are three course learning outcome. First of all, you will appraise and analyze the literature review in order for you to find the problems and what are the issues, okay, before conducting a research. Okay, once you found the problems, then you will conduct the research in a proper method. That's a research simple way. So basically, you will learn, anticipate, challenge, interpret, decide, and align. Okay, so which is covered in our course learning outcomes. Okay, in this course, right, there is one good news for you, where there is no exam at all. However, you have to do three continuous assessment. Number one is article review, which carries 20% marks, and you have to do an individual presentation, which carries 20%. Okay, and terminal assessments, where you need to come out with the research proposal. So when it comes to your individual presentation, right, where you need to cover the research proposal, so you can say 20, 20, 40, and your terminal assessments, where you need to come out with the research proposal, isn't it? Okay, so that will be, I mean, that carries 60 marks, I would say. Okay, so when it comes to research proposal, right, let me give you a little detailed information about this. When it comes to research proposal, where it covers three chapters: chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. Okay. uh, in chapter 1, there are few elements. Okay, number 1, introduction and background of the study, problem statement, research objective, research questions. All right, and you will have a significance of the studies, definition of the term. As for chapter 2, mainly on a literature review, you need to talk about theoretical framework, conceptual framework, and then you need to create a gap based on the previous studies, and you need to create a gap in order for you to conduct the research. Basically, you need to find the why. So, chapter number 3, it talks about methods. Either you're going to use quantitative or qualitative, okay, and your research approach, your research paradigm, where will you collect the data, who will be involving in, what instruments are you going to use. So do not worry about these terms which I used, like example qualitative and quantitative. You may familiar, but we will study together in detail to know the meaning of quantitative and qualitative. That's why I'm here. Okay, so do not worry about this. Take it easy, huh? Okay, and for the terminal assessment for the research proposal, right? I will guide you week by week. So towards the end of the week, we will come out with one title, and you will know what you wanted to cover in the chapter 1, 2, and 3 for your research proposal. Okay, all right, so now let's see what am I going to cover in week 1. First of all, I'm going to give you a little introduction on research methodology, and also research in academic in a professional settings, nature of knowledge, and overview of the research process. Okay, all right, now before I go any further in detail in week 1, let's have little discussions, and I would like to listen from you. Basically, I would like to know about your opinion. My question is, why should we do research in academics? And I would prefer you to write in one sentence. If you ask me why I would like to do research in academics, because I would like to find a systematic way to find a solution. Let's say, for example, I encountered that my students are very, very they feel anxiety and anxious during presentation. So I would like to know why, so that I would do research. And eventually I found out that they are scared because lack of preparations, lack of adequate knowledge on that particular topic. All right, so these are the solutions which I found out. So now I would like to hear from you, and I have prepared the link. You may write your response over there, and I would like to allocate around 3 to 5 minutes. Is that okay with you? All right, cool. Okay, so now what is the purpose of the questions which I ask you? Why do you need to research? First of all, you must have a purpose. So when you have the purpose, then you would know what is the purpose of doing that research. So you need to initiate the first thoughts. Number 2, okay, with your first thoughts, all right, you need to find out in a professional world, okay, and that you would able to find your interest in order for you to conduct a research. So what happened here, you brainstorm your ideas, why I need to do research and how to do this research. Okay, all right. In line with that, I would like to request you to watch the following video, which I have provided the link. All right, and after watching this video, right, I have 3 questions. What do you know about research? Have you ever tried doing any research within your school or classes? If so, what was the topic? Okay, and what did the process involve, or what were the outcomes? So can we do this? Okay, this video basically it carries, I mean, about, you need to watch within 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, while you're watching, you can also look into my questions. You can write your answers in a point form, then later we can discuss about it. Okay, all right, now next. So I believe you have already answered all these questions, right? Let's do some personal reflections. Okay, how will or can it add to my knowledge? How the research? How can it address the gaps in my knowledge? How can it expand my horizon of my knowledge? Okay, so I'm sure you would have found the answers. So I would like to hear from you. Can you please share your thoughts? Okay, now we do have a few scholars who define the meaning of research, and one of the scholars, Creswell, said that research is to get more information about a particular topic from the various perspectives. Okay, and also Creswell mentioned that a systematic way to collect the information and also find the answers to the relevant questions. And Creswell also defined that research is a process or steps to collect and analyze the information to increase our understanding. Okay, all right. So I will also want you to go and find out, apart from Creswell, how about other scholars define the meaning of research? Research, research. Okay, so yeah, moving on. What is the purpose of doing research? Okay, mainly we do research to replace the existing knowledge with new findings. What have they found? And then earlier and now. Let me give you one example. There was one researcher who found or invent a recycle machine which operates for 2 hours. And later on, there was another researcher found or invent another recycling machine which operates for 1 hour. The earlier one, 1 hour 30 minutes. The second one is 1 hour. So, what are the features have been invented in order for them to reduce the process time? So that is the unique, isn't it? So you, that is the knowledge which you found it. Okay, all right, I've given you one example. From that you can look into that, you will get the better ideas what is the purpose of research. Okay, all right. So when it comes to the nature and source of knowledge, there are three types of knowledge, I would say. Experience, all right, no, experience from your own or listen from the people, all right, or we call identical experience based on the situation. And number two, okay, authority from a person, or that can be in organizations which get the experience from the expertise to deal with it or to acknowledge the problems. And third one we call a prior knowledge, which existing knowledge, with the existing knowledge we further investigate so that you can plan your own research. Okay, now when it comes to research process, there are six processes. Number one, identify the research problem. Okay, review the literature, refer back to the previous study so that you will get ideas and you can find the uniqueness from the previous studies and your studies. You can compare to your studies. Okay, and specify the research process. Okay, conduct research and collect the data, analyze and interpret the data. This is the research process. So if you can see these six processes, right, this is where you are going to write your chapters. Okay, all right, moving on. Do not worry about the writing chapters. I will give you at the same time. I would like to share my PhD research proposal. You see how I wrote my research proposal. Okay, all right, okay. So this is I mean these are key components of research methodology. Okay, earlier I was talking about quantitative or qualitative. Probably you would still remember those terms, isn't it? So these terms mainly apply in a methodology part, which is under chapter 3. So research method refers to systematic process, designing, conducting, analyzing, and interpreting the research. That's why, in order for you to write chapter 3, first of all, you need to find the theoretical framework where you discuss in a chapter 2, okay? And then, I mean, what you call theoretical framework, it's like a waste. Where you want to go, type, it brings you. So, without having a theories, how are you going to analyze the data? So, I would say theories are like a route map, it guides you. It will guide you for you to analyze the data. Okay, all right. Now moving on, move to the next one. So now remember earlier I mentioned about the quantitative and qualitative. So you will have your research design. Either you wanted to use a qualitative method like interview, text analysis, spoken analysis, or you want to move into a number which is a quantitative, or we do have a qualitative as well as the quantitative method. Okay, all right. So sampling basically who are involved in your studies, how many participants. Okay, let's say for example in qualitative the centration sampling is a 5 to 55. But as for the pilot, sorry, as for the quantitative studies you need a larger number. So based on a sampling plan like a Grigi Morgan, you can calculate. Let's say for example on that particular place you have 300 people. Okay, from that you need to calculate the sampling plan, how many samples you want. So basically for the quantitative studies you need at least 150 samplings. It means you will come out with the questionnaire, distribute the questionnaire, let people answer the questions for that particular target group. Okay, sampling, and then you need to analyze the data. So you need to use so you need to do what I call when you collect the data, right? As I mentioned that interviews basically survey sorry, qualitative basically text analysis, right? Okay, so you want to do observation interviews and so on. All right, so when it comes to quantitative, where you need to do some experiments, you distribute the questionnaire and collect the data, or hypothesis. Okay, and then for the data analysis, right? Okay, we do have a statistic analysis or thematic analysis. Mainly for the statistic analysis under the quantitative, thematic or content analysis under the qualitative method. Yeah, okay, so do not worry about this, stay tuned, I will guide you. Okay, and then apart from all this, right, of course you need to get approval from the participants. We call consents from the participant who involved in your studies. Basically it's about you know approval from them, it's ethical clearance. Okay, all right. Then next one is reliability and validity, or we call validity and reliability. Okay, validity refers to the research, how accurate the measurements, the exacts. Okay, and then when it comes to reliability, refers to consistency and stability of your research findings. Okay, all right. And then research methodology, again let's conclude this. A research means a systematic approach to conduct a research by using a proper method. So I would say the best practices, so that you will get a valid and impactful findings. Okay, all right. So these are the references which I read in order for me to prepare week one lecture. I believe it will be very useful for you. At the same time, you can also use this particular uh, what I call the references to get more information about this. So let me wrap up. Today we learn what is a research, what are the research process involved. Okay, and also how are we, what are the outlines which covers under chapter 1, chapter 2 and chapter 3. Okay, and I believe I also uploaded a few sample research proposal in our Perdana University model. Okay, please access. And also I prepared 7 WH questions. Based on your reading, you need to answer all the questions. So the answers only can find from the research proposal which I uploaded on the Perdana University. And don't forget to read the continuous assessment. Okay, what you have to do with in your critical analysis and a case studies and article review and presentation rubrics, and also what are the elements covered in your research proposal. All right, So that's all for today. If you have any questions, I have prepared a Q&A in a PU Pradhanam University model. You can ask there so that I can answer your questions. All right. Thank you very much, students. Take care.